Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Dana Skinner. I'm the athletic director here. The last time I stood up here in this podium, we announced that we were elevating all of our programs to Division I. That was just a couple of months ago, and I didn't think there was a way to top that announcement, but celebrating a trip to the Frozen Four has certainly done that. So we're excited you're all here. We welcome you to this Frozen Four press conference, home of the, here at Tsongas Center, home of the UMass Lowell Riverhawks, our Hockey East regular season and tournament champions, and now NCAA Northeast regional champions, and off to the Frozen Four. I'm going to make some introductory remarks, and then I'll introduce Chancellor Meehan, Coach Norm Bazin, and our captain Riley Wetmore to make some remarks as well. This has certainly been an exciting time for the institution. The announcement in February that we're elevating all of our sports to Division I, and now a long run to the Frozen Four. First time in school history. We'll be heading out to Pittsburgh next Tuesday. One of the great benefits of Division I athletics is the increased exposure for the university. Both games at the Garden were on NESN. The regionals were televised on NESN and ESPNU. Both Frozen Four semifinal games are on ESPN2, and the NCAA National Championship game will be on ESPN. Add to the TV coverage all the newspaper stories, the fan support at the TD Garden and up in Manchester, and all of this visibility gives us an opportunity to tell a much wider audience the story of a growing and advancing institution. It is certainly clear that we wouldn't be having nearly as much fun had we not hired Coach Norm Bazin. He's provided inspirational leadership, and he's kind of a terrific story. He's a former student athlete himself. He's returned to his alma mater. He's a two-time graduate. He's got a master's degree here as well. And he's led the institution to certainly what's been a memorable run, and a run that's not finished yet. I tell you, I can't say as I'm all that surprised at the success that Norm is experiencing. It's why we hired him. I remember Norm well as a student athlete back in the early 19 to mid-1990s. He was every bit the same leader back then as a student athlete. He had great presence. He had great confidence. And I will admit, though, that Norm, I never thought this would happen this quickly. So it certainly has been a fast ride, a fast run to the Frozen Four. He took over a team with just 5 wins in the year before he got here. In year 1, they finished second in Hockey East and qualified for the NCAA tournament. The second year, as everybody knows, Hockey East regular season and tournament champions, and off to the Frozen Four. And I'm not sure, but I have to believe, I don't know another individual who's been Coach of the Year 4 years in a row. Norm was Coach of the Year the 2 years before he got to UMass Lowell at Hamilton. He's been the Hockey East Coach of the Year twice, and I don't know if that's a record. You media folks could help us with that, but I don't think there's another individual that's been Coach of the Year 4 times. Finally, this has been a real team effort at the university. First, a chancellor was hired 6 years ago who certainly appreciated the role a successful Division I hockey team could play to increase visibility for the institution. He orchestrated the transfer of the Tsongas Arena, stole, whatever the term, the Tsongas Arena to the university, and it's been transformed into the Tsongas Center at UMass Lowell, now one of the hottest and most successful hockey venues in the country. We then went out and hired Norm as our head coach. He built, shortly after we hired Norm, we constructed a new hockey performance center and a video editing room to get all of our student athletes big and strong. Frankly, over the past 6 years, in addition to what's gone on with the hockey program, the university has experienced great growth, great progress. Marty, I'm sure, will talk more about that. And it's one of the things that attracted America East to UMass Lowell as a possible member. The fact that we had demonstrated success with a Division I hockey program, and that we had this great 5-year trajectory of progress at the university, those were 2 key components to us being able to elevate our program to Division I. And finally, a critical piece of the puzzle, some terrific student athletes. They are outstanding. They demonstrated exceptional leadership, skill, toughness, togetherness. They've been a joy to watch all year. We're very proud of what they've done on the ice. We're equally proud of what they do in the classroom. In 5 of the last 6 years, the men's hockey team has been the highest achieving male academic team in the athletic department. So they are doing it in every aspect of life, and we're awfully proud of what they've done. So, as my father used to say to me when I was a young basketball player before every game, Dana, play well tonight. Boys, play well next week, all right? So we wish you the best, and we'll start now with some of the introductions here. A new standard of excellence has been introduced here at UMass Lowell. UMass Lowell Chancellor Marty Meehan has led the university through dramatic improvements in every measurable category since the time he's been here. One category that isn't so easily measured is enthusiasm. This is a campus on fire. I'm not sure I've ever seen anything like it since I've been in college athletics. No athletic director should have to wait 26 years for a trip to the Frozen Four, but so be it. It is what it is. Marty will tell you that, you know, it took him coming here to bail me out. That's okay, as long as I got to go. I really don't care how I got bailed out. So Chancellor Marty Meehan has been our leader now, I think in his 7th year. He is the 15th President Chancellor at the university, and I welcome Chancellor Marty Meehan.
Thank you. I think I'll just speak from here. Thank you, Dana. I also want to thank Dana for his leadership to this university over a period of 26 years, and he's been great to work with. Sometimes I'm a little difficult to work with, but Dana's done a great job, and I want to thank Dana for his leadership, particularly in bringing us to Division I, which was a goal that we had set up after establishing a committee to look at what role athletics needed to play in terms of our strategic plan at the university. I want to thank a number of people. Let me first of all say I'm thinking about how this campus has changed since Riley Wetmore got here, and it's really remarkable in terms of new buildings, new academic buildings on both the North and the South campus. We've grown enrollment in that period of time by 40%. What's interesting is the average SAT score of our students up 56% if you combine the math and verbal. This institution's been around for a long time. It was established in 1896, but 3 years ago, for the first time in our history, U.S. News and World Report ranked us as a nationally ranked top-tier university. There are about 4,500 four-year institutions across the country. There are only about 200 of them that get into U.S. News and World Report's top tier, and we're proud of our entire university community for that accomplishment. And as Dana said, we're a university on the move by any metric you would use to measure success. We're a more diverse campus than we've ever been. We acquired a downtown hotel. 500 students live there. We're going to open up two new dormitories coming up in September. Why? Because we want students to live on campus and enjoy the full measure of student life. It means when students live on campus, they're more likely to attend events, to attend sporting events, to attend hockey events. You know, we were 12th in the country for attendance for hockey. And a lot of that was the enthusiasm that our students who live here, who get engaged in the community, and that was part of our strategic plan. I want to thank the City of Lowell. We did have a negotiation to take over this building, and the reason why we wanted the building was because we wanted to make the investment that we felt were important for a top-notch Division I hockey program. That's why, as Dana mentioned, $400,000 put into a performance enhancement facility, including weight room, $5 million to enhance the experience of our fans. And we're not finished yet, by the way. You know, our team practices out in Chelmsford. That's not acceptable for a top-notch program. We're going to build a practice rink that will be connected to this building, because that's what our team, our hockey team, deserves. And as you make the move to Division I, you need to have that second practice facility, and you don't want your players having to go on a bus to get there. So we will continue to make the investments. I'm obviously delighted with not only the coach, his professionalism, the way he deals with our student athletes, and he's really helping create. And I talk to the parents of our players all the time, and they talk about the development of these players, not just on the ice, where they've been fabulous, but also as human beings. You know, I know, for example, Riley's a good example of it. Riley, in one of the big games, probably at the time the most important game in his career, and he's calling a high school coach to thank that coach for all that he did for Riley in terms of his whole development. Dana mentioned the academic success of our teams. We're not here just to win hockey games. We're here to develop outstanding young men that are going to make significant contributions to this world. and they have achieved in a high level academically. They also give back in terms of the greater Lowell community and also in terms of the university community. They're outstanding leaders by any way you measure leadership, and that makes not only the program a better program, but it makes this university a better place. I know the coach has 2 degrees from here, and he believes in what the mission of the institution is, but to understand the success of the mission of the institution, all you have to do is look at the contribution to the young men who are part of this team. They've been working hard all year long, working hard at their studies, working hard in terms of contributions to the community, and also, obviously, you see the performance on the ice. So I just want to say to the players how proud I am to be chancellor of this institution, how much you have contributed to this institution to helping increase the stature of the institution nationally as great examples of students that we want to produce at this institution. So with that, delighted to be here. This is an exciting time for this university, and we're going to have many, many exciting years ahead of us. Thank you.
Thank you. Next up is our coach. I've talked about him a little bit. I won't get into any more detail because he hates it when I do that. So I will tell you again, I've known Norm a long time. Since he was a student athlete, he was a terrific leader when he was here. When I hired him, you know, and you get to know these student athletes and you work with them and you watch them day after day. There's a special quality that UMass Lowell kids have always had. I got a phone call today from Eddie Campbell, one of our former outstanding hockey players, and he talked about the quality of the Lowell student athlete and how special it is, how you come to Lowell because you get to hang out with other individuals that are hardworking, they want opportunities, and they take advantage of those opportunities, and that's what we have here. So Norm obviously was one of those. I think I told him when I hired him that I wasn't sure I ever enjoyed offering a job to anybody as much as I enjoyed going back to one of our alums and somebody that had such a special connection and an important role that he played when he was a student athlete. So he's done a terrific job, and Norm will make some comments now.
Well, first, thank you, Marty and Dana, for those generous comments. It's an understatement for me to say I'm privileged to work here at the university. Obviously, both my wife and I have an opportunity to work at the university we graduated from, and when we do that, it certainly gives you a special opportunity to leave a legacy. And this group you see in front of you has worked extremely hard, as Dana mentioned, has done many special things already this year. It's a year of firsts, and they should be commended for this outstanding effort, and we should give them a round of applause right now. First, I'd like to thank everybody who's here today. You know, it's my idea to set this up simply to allow our student athletes to continue to work towards the ultimate goal of bringing home a national championship and eliminating as many distractions as possible. And there's no question these guys are focused on the ultimate goal, and it's my job to continue towards that effort. First and foremost, we're just going to talk a little bit about our season. It's certainly a season that was chock full of ups and downs. We front-loaded the schedule with many, many strong opponents, starting off with Boston College twice and a trip to Colorado Springs and Denver, and then followed up by 3 games against UNH and 2 against Maine. Isn't the ideal start for any team that's trying to get ahead of the game. However, it gave us a great barometer as to where we were at. And quite honestly, we probably weren't at the level some of those teams were earlier in the season. But as we all know, it's not how you start, it's how you finish. And thankfully for us, despite a mediocre start, we got a good feel for our personnel, and we're able to work with a lot of young kids who have been input in the lineup in the second half, have grown into their roles, and have performed very well. The second stretch to our season was vital, and these guys came out with some strong results. The 2 road trips to Maine and Vermont produced sweeps after Christmas, and that was a heck of a start to a stretch run. So it was an exciting season. It remains as such, and we're thrilled to be part of a Frozen Four. I think all 4 teams have an equal opportunity to bring home the trophy, and that's what we're there for. We're there for a weekend, and we've been approaching it that way from the onset. and we're excited and thrilled to be part of that group. However, we're focused on what we need to do, and these guys have been very businesslike in their approach all season long. We are the best road team in the country, and I don't mind sharing that with people because I do feel we play with discipline, we play hard, we play fast, and that gives you opportunities to be successful on the road. So very proud of this group, and we'll continue to work here this upcoming week to go forward. Thank you.
Senior captain Riley Wetmore has skated in all 40 games this season for the Riverhawks. He's posted 26 points. He's a two-time captain, and he provides exceptional leadership both on and off the ice. He is a business administration major. He's got a 3.0 GPA. I don't know, Riley, if it's dropped a little in the last couple of weeks. Are we okay with the GPA? We're still in pretty good shape. So Riley's now going to make a few comments.
All right, first off, thank you very much for the nice comments. And I have to say happy birthday to my roommates, Derek and Colin. It's their birthday today, so just happy birthday to them. But yeah, like Coach said, we're just focused like we have been all year, just week in and week out on the weekend. So for us, we haven't really looked at it as a first. Like the championship, we were happy, obviously, but we didn't really have time to celebrate. And then with the Hockey East Championship as well, and then winning last weekend, we're still playing every weekend, and we're focused on the next game and the next opponent. But I will say this: when we were down 1-0 to Providence in the semifinal game, without the fan support and the people that were at the game, if you were there at the TD Garden, it was unbelievable to look up and just see the fans and all the alumni that were there. Without them and without you guys there, we wouldn't have been able to come back and win that game. So thank you very much for being there. And also this past weekend, it was nice being only 30 miles away from campus. I know talking to the other guys, that was probably the game against UNH was probably the best crowd. It was surreal just to look up, and if you were there at the beginning of the game for the starting lineup, just chanting back and forth, it was just an amazing experience. And from all of us, we look forward, obviously, to this coming weekend, and thank you very much for the support that we've had throughout the year.
It was the end of December. I think we were 4-7-1, and I came over to the building, and I saw Norm over here, and I made a comment, I think, like, probably not the start, Norm, that you wanted. And he looked at me, he said, well, we're fine. And of course, you know, my response, I think, was, well, could we be fine a little bit faster, if that's possible? But he certainly had a good read on his personnel and his team. He understood his players. He was trying to work some freshmen into the lineup, and they certainly had a special season. Now, we've not been to the Frozen Four before, and I wanted to call out there and see if we could get some experience from somebody that had. Pete Soros is the Hockey East Assistant Commissioner for Public Relations. He's been to many Frozen Fours, so we called on him. There was not another Hockey East team in the tournament, so it really kind of cleared the deck for us to get some free help. So I'm grateful to Pete, and Pete has some experience handling question and answer process. And Pete, if you want to come up and take it from here. Thanks.
Thank you, Dana. At this time, we'll just take questions from the media. We have 2 microphones being passed around, so just wait to get the mic and then identify yourself and just direct the question to a particular one of our speakers. So we want to start down in the front, Jim.
Thanks. This question from Marty. Jim Conley from U.S. College Hockey Online. Can you talk about the involvement you had in the hiring process of Norm? I've seen a lot of coaches come and go, and not a lot of presidents and chancellors seem to do much except maybe shake their hand. But you seem very involved. What was the reason you wanted to be so involved in that process?
Because I think at the University of Massachusetts Lowell, we're seeking to achieve excellence in everything that we do. And so I get engaged and involved in hiring a lot of people at the university because that's basically the foundation of what makes a great university. We have a Division I hockey team that we've made investments. We took this building over. It was losing $1.1 million a year for the city, and many people thought that was a mistake to take this building over. I felt that we had to have the building if we were going to achieve the type of success and excellence that we wanted in our hockey program. I participated with Dana in putting together a search committee for a new coach. I was interested in making sure that we got the best possible coach that we can, and that's what really being a president of a university, a chancellor, is all about, getting the best people that you can get and making sure the process ensures that you're going to get a really good candidate. And as it turns out, I did sit in on the final interview because I wanted the coach to know how I felt about the program, but also I want to make a commitment to whoever became the coach that I was behind this program. There are times when this program, I think, hasn't gotten the support that it deserved, you know, whether it's from folks in Boston or wherever. And I'm committed to this, and I think a coach wants to hear that administration is committed to it. And as I said earlier, we've invested over $5 million in the building. We're 12th in the country in attendance, and that helps a team, that helps the program. It helps in terms of revenue. But we're not finished yet. As I said earlier, we think that we should have a practice rink right in this facility, and we're going to do that. So, you know, some might say I micromanage from time to time, but I just wanted to make sure that I had an opportunity to let whoever the coach would be. The other thing I'll tell you is, as soon as Norm left my office, I turned to Dana. I said, "That's our coach." I mean, it was as clear as can be. But we have national searches here for major important positions at this university, and that's why we're doing so well by any metric you'd measure a university. And I think that process was a great process, and I'm thrilled with the result. Not just because of you know, how well the team is doing, but because of the character and the type of person the coach is.
More questions from the media? Dave?
Dave Pavia from the Lowell Sun. I guess for Riley, you were talking about the atmosphere up at UNH before the up in Manchester before the game with UNH. Now you got to wait 12 days. I know it is what it is. It doesn't give anybody a competitive advantage. All the teams have to do it. But can you talk about how you're dealing with? I'm sure you would probably prefer to be playing this weekend, but how do you kind of keep your emotions in check? 12 days is a long time to be fired up.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, actually, this year we were supposed to play BC on a weekend game, but then there was a snowstorm, so we kind of had a couple extra days off, and I think it works out for us. It's just a couple guys have a couple bumps and bruises, so they can heal those. But yeah, I think they're just looking forward to it more than anything. The excitement in practice. We know there's only 4 teams in the country right now practicing, so we're out there working hard every day. We're just enjoying. I know personally that for the 3 seniors, we're enjoying every practice that we can. There's not much time left, and yeah, we're just looking forward to the experience coming up next week.
More questions? Dan?
Thank you. Dan Roach from WBZ TV. Riley, happy birthday to your roommates. Also, has it sunk in that you're in the Frozen Four as a team? And what's the campus been like this week for you guys?
I'd say as a team, it hasn't. I mean, we're just happy to be playing. It hasn't. It's kind of been surreal. I know everyone's just been congratulating us on the regular season and the championship and then winning this past weekend, but like I said before, I feel like we're just looking at it like we want to go there and play 2 games. We've never looked past any opponent all year, and that's the same thing we're going to be doing this coming weekend. So we haven't really let anything sink in yet. We have all summer for that, but around campus has been tremendous. I mean, if we're wearing any of our hockey stuff or anyone sees our nice looking beards that we have, they congratulate us, and it's just been it's great not only for us, but like Chancellor said, for the community around here and the university as a whole.
More questions?
Hi, Riley, Evan Lips, Lowell Sun. The last few games, it seems like they've been tight going into the third. I mean, you've kept a lot of fans on their heels and at the edge of their seats, quite frankly. What is the atmosphere in that locker room going into the third period? It just seems like a magical thing when you guys come out. Is there something that you've noticed with this last year that you haven't noticed in other teams you've played on, other years you've been here even?
Yeah, I mean, they have been close games. I feel like they have been all year. I feel like at the beginning of the year we weren't all bought into the system. We weren't really bought into everything as a team. There was, I don't know, 5 or 6 guys bought in one week, and then the next week it'd be another group of guys. But all 27 guys and 20 guys that are playing are bought in. We know that we can win a game when it's close. Obviously, Hellebuck's been playing well in net for us all year, and our team defense has been stellar. We have guys blocking shots every night, and obviously different guys contributing every night, and we're not sure who it's going to be that night. So we're just positive, and if we trust the process, then we can be successful.
More questions? Dave?
I guess for Norm, you mentioned earlier that any team in this Frozen Four can win the championship. It's certainly not the same olds in the Frozen Four. And what do you think that means for college hockey? Is it a comment on some of the developments of some of the other programs that we don't have, like BC, North Dakota, and so forth?
Oh, that's an excellent question. I think the usual suspects are a very strong club still. I mean, there's no fluke that these 4 teams got to the finals. North Dakota got beat out, BC got beat out, Minnesota. I mean, those are usual suspects. At least one of the 3 is in the Frozen Four. I just think other programs have risen. UMass Lowell being one of them, and it's a credit to some of the other programs. There will be a new national champion this year, and we feel, why not Lowell? And we strongly feel that way. It's one of those years where I put less emphasis on the strong programs and more emphasis on everybody else doing a great job. The parity is there. I think you see it in every level of hockey. If you look at the NHL, if you were to guess who's going to win the Stanley Cup this year, you're probably mistaken. There's parity across hockey at all levels. Possibly that's part of it.
More questions? Jim?
I feel the biggest thing is he brought the culture back. He just, as soon as he came in, he demanded respect from everyone and just made sure that everyone was going to be held responsible and accountable off the ice. I feel like in years past when I was here, there'd be certain guys that wanted to go on and play after college, and those guys would obviously be working hard in the gym. But then there's the other guys that want to go on into the business world or go on in different professions, and they might not be ready to sacrifice what everyone else is. And I feel like when he got here, it was just, if you want to be here and you want to be on this team, then you're going to be held accountable, and there's no exceptions from a freshman to a senior. And I feel like we've bought into that, and the last 2 years have just been tremendous.
Any other final questions from anyone in the media? Bob, in the front.
Bob Ellis, UMass Lowell Radio. I would say, Coach, you mentioned any one of the 4 teams will have a new national champion this year. What's going to separate the team that wins it from those that don't? What makes the difference?
I'll tell you after the tournament's over.
Hoping I could get a peek at the future.
I think when you look back on previous winners, it's not always the most talented team, the most skilled team, the fastest team. It's the best team. And it's a group of individuals that come to play hard for each other, and that's sacrifice. And I think, one game, anything can happen, as we all know. So I think the best team will win, not necessarily the most skilled team or the fastest team. So we'll have to wait for the tournament to take place for me to answer that fully.
And one other question, if I might, Pete,
Sure.
to both Coach and to Riley Wetmore. I'm curious, we talk about at times a slow start at the beginning of the season. What was this team doing in the second half of the year that it was not doing during that slow start?
Like I said before, I just feel like not everyone was bought in. We didn't buy in. We didn't necessarily trust one another, or we were trying to do one another's jobs. And now I feel like everyone's bought in. We're just trying to do our own job, and if I do my job, then I have to trust that one of my line mates, or McGrath or Arnold, they're going to do their job. Because if I'm trying to help them, then it's not going to work in the end.
If I can add anything to that, this is a marathon. It's a long college season. Of any college sport in the country, hockey has the longest season. And it's not about who's got the best start or the strongest finish. It's about the whole season as a body of work. And these guys have been strong in the second half, but you were playing some excellent competition. We started off with 7 of the 8 teams that are ranked #1 in the country at some point in the season, and we used it as a barometer. We didn't get down. You survive a stretch like that because you have strong leadership. Riley happens to be the only captain in UMass Lowell history who's captained 2 consecutive NCAA teams, and that's a strong accomplishment. But it's also a tribute to the whole leadership group. You have Holmstrom, Ruedel, Thompson now, and Wetsy. So it's a good group. They've certainly led by example, and it's a good chemistry. There's a good group here.
One last thing from me, Norm. You played in the NCAA tournament in 1994. I don't remember a news conference. I don't remember the media like this. I'm curious, from where you sit, how dramatically has it changed?
Yeah, news outlets are so much more involved than they used to be, and that's okay. I think these guys are getting preparation for the real world. Whether in the business world or remain in sports, it's good for the kids. We have such a great venue here, and we have such great departments in terms of sports information and media outlets here in Lowell that they're prepared for this. There's no wow factor going to the Final Four, or Frozen Four I should call it. It's the Boston Garden, the Hockey East playoffs were terrific. You go to Manchester, terrific venue. They did an outstanding job of hosting that regional, and now Pittsburgh. So it's much of the same as what we've been experiencing the last few weekends. So these guys will have their focus. There is no wow factor. It's nice to certainly get one of these days out of the way so we can focus on getting back to work and hearing the coach yell at practice a little bit. And they're going to have their focus when it's time.
Anything else final? I just want to thank everyone for coming today. Good luck to the team in Pittsburgh. And if all the players could stick around for some just one-on-one interviews after, that would be great. Thank you very much.